That's it. Right, test against the microphone up to IT. Microphone working. Anyway, microphone already working. When you
Had that for over 15 years.
and the microphone. Yeah, we'll do the tap dance. Have you? Is your microphone working? Is yours working? No?
Okay, I'll try that. Is that one? Does that sound right?
So, Michael, how many conventions have you attended so far? As we're here to prop up the line. Who's that? Oh, really? Oh, that's good. Oh. Yes, it. Yeah.
Shall we get on with this?
No, we tried for God's sake. Let's get on with it.
Yes, we're here to talk about Patrick.
Your dad. We're talking about your
Yeah.
dad. Tell us stories about your
I
dad.
will try, but I don't have a microphone. Room operator. Hello, everyone. Yeah, Dad. A great character actor. Probably. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons I think he is such a loved doctor. That he actually had done such a huge body of work before he actually became the doctor. That he had the experience to be able to produce such an interesting character. He had that depth of experience. And I think that's why he was cast as well. You know, it was a safe pair of hands, which was really important. And I think, you know, the latest Doctor, Peter Capaldi, reflects that as well, because he is an incredibly experienced character actor in exactly the same way. He's able to produce, you know, a wonderfully different kind of approach to it. Some people love it, some people don't. A bit like Marmite, I think. But the point is that he is producing something different, which is the most important thing with the Doctor. You've got to, and it's a great pressure on each of the Doctors. You've got to produce something different, because that regeneration, you know, is the important aspect of it. Just going back to Dad, you know, his characterization of the Doctor, I think, probably for me, when I was 12 years old. And the last time I saw Fraser, when I went to my first convention, Fraser came up to me and said, "Last time I saw you, you had short trousers on." I last saw him when I was 12 years old. Yeah, 12 years old, and of course you as well. And everyone, Wendy, all these wonderful people. And I was 12 years old, and my dad was Doctor Who, and it was probably the most fantastic thing that happened to me.
Was it going to school?
Yeah, I was going to say,
fantastic.
Michael, what was it like at school?
It was absolutely wonderful. The first day I went in, the story goes that I was down in Cornwall on holiday, and Dad was going to phone. In those days, you know, there was just a telephone box. You know, you waited for a call at the telephone box, and we were all waiting outside. And the phone rang, and my mother answered, and then a big smile came across her face. And so from that point on, I knew that he'd finally taken the offer, because it took about 2 weeks for him to be convinced. I think each time more money being offered, probably. But he finally accepted. And then, you know, he started the characterization of it. Took a long time to do. And,
The thing about him, Michael,
yeah.
the thing about him was that actually if he hadn't been so brilliant, Doctor Who would not have continued.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot to thank him for, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't all be here.
Your dad always tells a story that he was making a...
I thought it's working. Oh yeah. Yeah, he was making a movie called the Virgin Queen. And he said, and I wasn't playing a leading role. He was an idol. He always tells that story. I was making this film about the Virgin Queen. And I wasn't playing the leading role.
Yeah, I mean, he was on location actually in Dublin when that happened, and the phone went, and he was called to reception, the story goes, and he answered the phone, and there was the producer on the other end, basically saying, "Oh, we had this idea that you could play Doctor Who." And he just thought it was a joke, and he put the phone down and walked away. And they had to phone him up again because he just couldn't believe that that kind of part could be offered to him. Because those sort of parts, he didn't even contemplate playing.
Well, mine, shall I start? Mine, Fraser knows what I'm going to say. Mine was Mind Runner on a couple of levels. One, because it was incredibly innovative at that time and so completely different to any of the other stories I did in my season. And the second reason is Fraser wasn't there for a week. We had a great time, and we got another Jamie. I mean, what's not to love? Sorry. The guy that played Jamie was Hamish Wilson.
What did he take over from?
Well, what happened was Fraser got chickenpox, didn't he? He got chickenpox and had to go. And we were in the middle of shooting. So they wrote this incredibly clever system whereby we lost Jamie. It was all written overnight. We lost Jamie and the doctor, and so he had to put his face together again on a blackboard with like jigsaw pieces. And Patrick kept saying, "Don't put an eye there. No, that's not right." And he ended up with the wrong face, which was Hamish Wilson's face, and then he materialised. So we had a new Jamie for a week. Actually, it wasn't the same phrase, I have to be honest. I did miss it, yeah, it was much
I've got nothing to say. my favourite story. I've just told them all my favourite stories. Oh, are you new audience, are you? Have you not filmed? Oh, well now then. I think it has to be The Power of the Daleks. Because here we see Patrick for the first time, and it was so exciting to play with. Somebody made me sign a thing. One of my lines was, "He's a very different Doctor, Ben." And Ben said, "Oh, it's not right. It's not right. It fits. It can't be right." It was very exciting to play, no, we don't know if it's him. And him all lovely and rumpled and odd. That was a lovely, lovely scene. Yeah.
Well, I have to agree with Wendy there. My favourite story is The Mind Robber, because I had a week off from Wendy Bradbury. But I've got a lovely story about The Mind Robber, that when Patrick and I were, there's Emrys James sitting behind his desk, all these things sticking out of his head. And we came into the door, and they said, "Fraser, can you come a bit nearer to the table? Patrick, stay by the door. Fraser, a bit nearer to the table. That's it, Patrick, you stay back there." And a bit nearer Fraser to the table, I said, "I can't come any further to the table because my wedding tackle is now resting on the table." And Patrick's voice from back there said, "Yes, so's mine."
No swearing, it's all right.
Well, we were a very rude show.
My favourite story was my last storyline called Fury from the Deep. And if they ever discover any more of mine, please let it be Fury. It was written by Victor Pemberton, who's a great friend of mine, and it was the monster I loved, because you never saw it for about 4 episodes.
Yeah, it was in the phone.
It was the foam, it was
That's
going down
right.
the pipes. And we were on a beach, weren't we? All this foam coming in. And as I say, I thought it was terrific. But my claim to fame as Victoria, because of my scream, of course, I was nicknamed Leather Lungs, which I never got over, but there you go. And I actually killed it. with my screen. And it retracted back into the water, so, woman, you've got this one right.
Web of Fear. Yeah, it recently discovered as well, and I went to the premiere, and we all did actually, didn't we? I went to see the reconstruction of it, but the reason I love Web of Fear is because I think the Yeti, when I was younger, was the most terrifying creature to me. Everybody used to say, don't be ridiculous, you know, the Yeti, they can't move very fast, what do they do, you know? But actually it was those red eyes glaring at them, and the slow sort of waddle as they moved towards you, mesmerised you. It was a great, great episode. And the other reason I love it so much is because that was the first time I went to the studio and watched it being filmed. And I remember the most wonderful underground, London Underground Railway set, you know, the train set. It was absolutely stunning. It was so stunning, I think London Transport thought that they'd filmed there. You know, and they actually
They got very cross.
I think they phoned up and said, you've been using the underground without permission. And they said, no, we haven't, we built the set. And they didn't really want to believe them. But
Now, he was rather nice, rather tall, blonde, handsome, with big blue eyes. And he wasn't in the costume then. And one day he came up to me and he said, Debs, tomorrow night, what are you doing? And I said, I don't think anything really, why? He went, do you fancy dinner? I went, yes, thank you very much. And he went, good, right, fine. So he took me out to dinner the next night, and in those days, you went out to dinner, and there was a dance floor in the middle of the restaurant, right? Anyway, we're having quite a nice time, we're chatting away, and all of a sudden he said to me, Debs? I said, yes. Would you like to dance? I went, oh, yes, lovely, thank you very much. And there were other people on the dance floor. And we got up. And of course, he was there. And I was here. And it looked extraordinary. I was actually sort of on the level of his tummy button. We started to dance, fine. And I thought, this can't go on. So suddenly he picked me up. Now everybody else who was dancing stopped. I just watched us and went, ah. And then we finished the dance, he put me down, and they gave us a round of applause.
Stop there, look at that this.
And he went on, and he stopped. And he said, what do you think? Well, I looked at Fraser, and Fraser looked at me, and I said, are you really going to play it like that?
Oh.
And Fraser said,
He's not from Pakistan. He slopped away, didn't he?
So this question is hello. This question is mostly for Fraser, although it's open to everyone. There is quite a reputation that Patrick and Fraser had for causing quite a bit of trouble and playing pranks and such. Are there any particular pranks that you remember more fondly than the others? Anything you're particularly proud of? And for the others, are there any ones that that maybe you found the most annoying then, but remember the most fondly now?
Good question.
Yes. I can't honestly say I remember this fondly. I remember it. Do you remember this phrase? Kilt?
Oh, yes.
My kilt?
Yes.
Yeah. We were at rehearsal, we used to rehearse in a church hall, and we rehearsed a scene, and there were chairs around the edge of the room, and Pat Fraser and I rehearsed. We'd finished our scene, we went and sat on the seats, and I probably had been out late the night before. I was only 21 after all. And slightly nodded off on the seat while somebody else was rehearsing. and Pat was sitting one side of me, Fraser was sitting the other, and all of a sudden I was being nudged in the ribs from both sides, with Pat and Fraser saying, "Padders, Padders, come on, wake up, it's us, it's us." And I shot out of my seat like that, and my skirt stayed behind. And while I'd been nodding off, they'd undone my skirt at the side, which actually was a little kilt. And so I stepped into the middle of the rehearsal room in my knickers. It was not nice, Fraser.
It's great.
I can remember going so scarlet, and in my embarrassment, I ran out of the double doors of the rehearsal room into the hallway, bumped straight into the vicar. For some unknown reason, I said, "Oh, morning, vicar," and curtsied to him. Why? I don't know. No, that was bad. Very bad. Very, very bad.
We had great, I mean, why we were never kicked in the goolies or smacked around the head, patching up. We did lots of things, but in the Eve of the Daleks, so I had to find a handkerchief, and I'd say, "Oh, this is Miss Waterfield. I recognise it anyway." Yes. And then what happened is I got a pair of knickers, and I put it down, I said, "This is Miss Waterfield. I recognise it anyway."
You were in my next door.
No, that's the next door. That's the
Oh,
next
it's
door.
next door.
Oh, it's next door, yeah.
This one.
No, and so, yes it is, yeah, Jamie. Well, and then these knickers went all around the set. Maris Goring, playing the evil professor, he had a handkerchief in his pocket. He put the knickers in there, and now I get the Daleks positronically. He said, "Oh, it's very hot. Oh, it's water." And then finally a Dalek came in at the end of his plunger. "These are Miss Waterfield. I recognise them anyway." Knickers played a big part in your knickers.
Yes, my knickers certainly did. I remember one scene in the Weather Fair, and my dear father was playing Professor Travers. He was in this particular scene, and it was the set of the Tube Tunnel. Well, I'd been dragged off again, right, there's another one, it's with the Yeti. So there was Pat, Fraser, and father. They're going down, right, trying to find me. Where's she gone? Now, I'm behind the camera. I have nothing to do with this at all. So that'd be nice just to watch for a change. Lovely. So the director said, right, a rehearsal, right, fine. So there's Pat saying, "Now, don't worry, Jamie, don't worry, we'll find her." Jamie's going, "Are you sure, are you sure? Do you think she's gone this way?" And father's in the back, grunting a lot, going, And so they carry on. And all of a sudden, Pat stops and looks down and goes, and takes up a lovely lace handkerchief. Said, "Yes, Victoria's gone this way. They must have dragged her here. This is Victoria's. Fine." They were all wonderful fine. So they go for a take. As I say, I'm behind the camera. So I get action. Right, here we go. Pat. "Don't worry, Jamie, don't worry. She'll be fine. We'll find her. Don't worry. Are you sure, Doctor? Are you sure?" And then father's going grunting still. But the end. All of a sudden, they go along, and all of a sudden, Pat stops and goes, "Aha! Yes! Look at this." He bends down slowly comes up with a pair of knickers. Whereupon Pat says, "Oh, yes, yes. Yes, she has gone this way. These are Victoria's." Fraser takes them and says, "They certainly are." Then father takes them and says, "How do you know?"